With album sales in excess of 100 million, about a half a dozen Grammy Awards, a dozen more Grammy nominations, and induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, a list of Billy Joel's musical achievements is in a class of excellence. Having written some of the most memorable songs of the past 3 decades, he has now turned his pen from lyrical works to classical scores. Always a keen supporter of music education, the piano man went back to school in his native Long Island for a master class and an intimate chat with World Beat.
Okay, check, 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 1, 2. Okay, now I've got a book in front of me. It doesn't mean like I'm sitting here reading all the lyrics, but I've written like, I don't know, 200-something songs, and you start to forget some lyrics, and it's kind of like Linus's blanket. I'm just glad the book is near me.
I started doing the questions and answers format about 20 years ago. Actually, maybe even longer than that. It was in the late 70s, and I was asked to do a talk with some students at the Guitar Study Center. This was at the New School in New York. And I enjoyed it so much, I just kept doing this at colleges. I've done it at Oxford, and Harvard, and Princeton, and USC, UCLA, Dartmouth, all these incredible schools. I didn't even graduate high school. Now I've got 4 doctorates, and I'm, teaching at colleges.
Late at night, when it's dark and cold, I reach out for someone to hold.
Music education is vitally important. It was there when I was growing up, and I noticed the first thing that gets cut whenever there's a tight budget are the music and the art programs. And there's just as many musicians and artists as there are football players and swimmers, who are in sports programs in the schools. And I think that music education should be encouraged. A lot of people are going to fall through the cracks if it's not.
All it takes is the power in my hands. This baby grant's been good to me.
I think music saved my life. I don't know where I would be today if it wasn't for music. I would probably either be in jail or dead. I had no other choice but to be a musician. I knew at a very young age that that's what I was going to do. And I think without music, it's like Nietzsche said, life would have been a mistake. It's very, very important for me. It's my basic language. English is my second language. My first language is music. For the last 7 years, I've been writing purely instrumental music, no lyrics at all, just piano music, classical piano music. And I find that it's a very effective way for me to communicate an expression, an emotion, a feeling, a mood, in an abstract way. It's much more direct. I haven't written a song since the last song on the last recording, which came out, which was called Famous Last Words. Sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Is there anything that would inspire you to do so?
Me would inspire it. If I got in the mood to write lyrics, I'd write lyrics. I just don't feel like it. Just feel like writing this other kind of music. And for me, it's very fulfilling. It's very satisfying. I'm really happy to be doing it, actually. But I really didn't ever desert classical music. I brought a lot of that sensibility into my songwriting. There were a lot of songs that I wrote that became rock and roll songs or pop songs that were really written as classical piano pieces by me first. And then I just arranged them as rock and roll. So really, I never went that far away from it. It's the same sensibility. Now I'm just allowing myself to develop the music more and do more variation on it and development and write in longer form. So I don't even like to give it a name. I don't even like to call it classical music because that might turn some people off. It's just music that doesn't have words, but it has just as much feeling, maybe more. compose it, I can't always give it the reading that a classically trained, thoroughbred virtuoso can do. So hopefully in the near future, there will be a recording. I have them all recorded anyway as demos, but they're not the definitive recordings yet.
It's a pretty good crowd for a Saturday, and the manager gives me a smile, 'cause he knows that it's me they've been coming to see, to forget about life for a while. And the piano, it sounds like a carnival, and the microphone smells like a beer, and they sit at the bar and put bread in my jar and say, man, what are you doing here?
I have my own goals that I set for myself that I need to reach. But I'm going to be constantly reinventing myself as a composer and a musician. I think once you start repeating yourself, you're kind of dead as an artist. It's like Bob Dylan said, he who is not busy being born is busy dying. And I really believe that. I think as long as you can keep reinventing yourself and refreshing yourself with a new challenge, that you're being productive and you're being useful and you're being relevant.
This baby grand